what are the 16 factors for assessing इकोनॉमिक हेल्थ ऑफ अ कंट्री? तो अगर हमें किसी इकोनॉमी की एनालिसिस करनी है तो हम पेस्ट का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, पेस्टल का इस्तेमाल करेंगे, स्वॉट का इस्तेमाल करेंगे. उसके अलावा there are 16 different factors or 16 different aspects that we must study to get an idea or to get a good handle on understanding economy of a country. What those 16 aspects are, let us look at them one by one. Number one is the GNP growth of that economy. Number two, look at the exports, are they rising? Look at the imports, are they falling? So if the exports are rising, imports are falling, that's a good sign as far as that economy is concerned. Number three, look at the increasing expenditure on infrastructure. So if there is an increase on in the expenditures incurred by that incurred in that economy on the infrastructure, that is a good sign for that economy. Number
One
four.
second, I will tell you one interesting thing.
Yep.
ये जो increasing expenditure on infrastructure,
Uh-huh.
अमेरिका में एक बार बहुत ज़्यादा ये हो गया था,
हाँ.
कंडीशन खराब हो गया था,
Uh-huh.
तो वो लोगों ने एक बहुत बड़ा डैम बनाया था. हम कभी कहाँ गया था हमको याद नहीं.
Uh-huh.
तो they told this has been done during that period. Then हमने सोचा भैया ऐसा क्यों करता है गवर्नमेंट, क्यों पैसा खर्चा करता है ये टाइम में.
Right.
Then I came out with this theory कि भाई घर में अगर आप पैसा कैसे भी लगाओगे तो पैसा तो घूमेगा. So what they have done, they have ultimately thrown that money to the industries का नीचे का आदमी लोगों का पास, और उसका तरफ से जो ग्रोथ होने का था वो तो मॉनेटरी ग्रोथ हुआ, प्लस उनका जो प्रॉपर्टी में भी ग्रोथ हुआ, तो उनका इफेक्ट उसको मिलता है.
बिल्कुल सही. See, and that is what exactly is the fiscal management, which is the responsibility of a government. So exactly. So when there is low economic activity in an economy, it becomes the responsibility of the government to increase the capital expenditure and capital expenditure on development of productive infrastructure, because of the expenditure on infrastructure done by the government, by default there is a circulation of money and there is an increase in the economic activity. So the capital expenditure which are done by the government, it sets into motion a cycle of economic activity. So अगर वो let's say रोड बना रहे हैं, एयरपोर्ट्स बना रहे हैं, डैम बना रहे हैं, तो डिमांड ऑफ स्टील विल इंक्रीज, demand of cement will increase, demand of manpower will increase. Now all that in turn will increase the purchasing power with the people, and as a result of that, demand for other products will also keep on increasing, and that is what fiscal management is all about. And that is your point number 3, which is increase in expenditure on infrastructure. Number 4, employment situation. Number 5, balance of payment. If the balance of payment is positive for a geography, for an economy, it is a good sign. As a matter of fact, this must be the aim of every economy, to ensure that the balance of payment position is always favorable. And balance of payment position and the trade surplus are the two indicators for any economy of being in a very very strong state. Number 6, growth of industrial development.
Sir, what is trade surplus? Trade surplus?
Yeah, trade surplus is, sir, when like in our case, what we purchase from an economy, from another country, and what we export to that economy or that country, what is the difference? If our exports are more than the imports that we have from that country, that means we have a trade surplus. So we are exporting more, importing less. If it is other way around, that means if we are importing more and exporting less, and that means we have a trade deficit, and the trade deficit is not a good sign. Same is the case with the balance of payment. So if we have to make more payment than what we are receiving from the outside world, it's a bad sign, because we have to pay more, and we have to receive less. That means it's a bad sign. But if we have to receive more and pay less, that means our balance of payment situation is positive, and that is a sign of a strong economy, a sign of strong economy. And that is what a leader, a national leader has to do. A national leader has to work on trade deficit, a trade in trade surplus. He has to work for balance of payment to become positive. So if that happens, automatically economy of the country develops. Unfortunately, since independence, for whatever reason, knowingly or unknowingly, we have had our trade situation on overall basis negative. That means since independence we always had trade deficit. Since independence we always have balance of payment adverse. That means we always needed to pay more than what we were to receive. And these two things happened because as an economy, we never lay emphasis on सेल्फ रिलायंस. तो आज जो हमारा देश आत्मनिर्भरता की बात कर रहा है, अनफॉर्चुनेटली सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस until last few years we not never spoke or never worked in terms of आत्मनिर्भरता. यानी कि ताज्जुब होता है कि जब आपको दिख रहा है सालों से, फॉर डिकेड्स सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस ट्रेड डेफिसिट है, बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट एडवर्स है, तो क्यों इस देश में ऐसी स्ट्रेटजी नहीं बनाई गई जिससे कि ट्रेड सरप्लस होता था, बैलेंस ऑफ पेमेंट पोजीशन पॉजिटिव होती थी? क्यों नहीं किया गया ऐसा? ये वाकई में थोड़े ताज्जुब की बात है. ऑन द कॉन्ट्रेरी व्हाट वी वर डूइंग, वी वर इंपोर्टिंग गुड्स वर्थ 10 लाख करोड़ एवरी ईयर फ्रॉम चाइना. यानी कि ट्रेड सरप्लस की बात छोड़ो, हम क्या कर रहे हैं, हम हमारे पड़ोसी देश से जिससे कि हमारे संबंध अच्छे भी नहीं हैं, उससे हम 10 लाख करोड़ का माल हर साल खरीद रहे हैं. इसका मतलब क्या है? इसका मतलब हम हमारे कंट्री की सेल्फ रिलायंस की चिंता नहीं कर रहे, हम हमारे पड़ोसी के सेल्फ रिलायंस की चिंता कर रहे हैं. और क्यों वो चिंता कर रहे हैं, वो कारण आज तक समझ में नहीं आया. आप देखिए, और आपको मालूम है कि हमारे देश में गणपति की मूर्तियाँ गणपति के समय में चाइना से बन के आती थी. अब आप मुझे बताइए कि गणपति की मूर्ति बनाने में ऐसी कौन सी टेक्नोलॉजी है जो हम हिंदुस्तान में नहीं कर सकते थे. पूरी दुनिया को मालूम है कि चिप्स इज़ अ क्रिटिकल प्रोडक्ट फॉर ऑल द इंडस्ट्रीज, ऑटोमोबाइल इंडस्ट्री, वाइट गुड्स इंडस्ट्री, एंड फॉर ऑल दीज ईयर्स वी वर डिपेंडिंग ऑन ताइवान, वी वर डिपेंडिंग ऑन चाइना. व्हाई इज दैट? India is such a huge country. Everything is available here. Why is that we never thought to become independent in production of the chips also? It's today that we are doing it. It's today that we are focusing on all these areas. It's today that we are talking in terms of Atmanirbharta. And remember, these are the reasons as to why India's economy is surging ahead. These are the reasons today, the development which are happening today, that India is really becoming a superpower. India is really becoming respected globally. And I am sure all of you would have noticed the kind of response that our country has got in the G20 summit, which recently got concluded. As a matter of fact, now the leadership of G20 is going to be with India, or it is today already with India. And I'm sure, just wait and watch. During the leadership of G Summit of India, just see as to what kind of global developments will take place in every walk of life, and more so on peace, on global peace. A lot of things are going to happen. All right. So the factor number 6, as part of those 16 factors, is growth of industrial development, manufacturing, agriculture and service, because these are the three components that contribute to the GDP of a nation. So manufacturing की growth कैसी है, agriculture की growth कैसी है, service की growth कैसी है, is the sixth factor that will let you know as to how is the economy of this country. Number 7, positive balance of trade. Number 8, low inflation and interest rate. Please remember, country like India is market for the whole world. country like India is market for the whole world, and therefore economy of a country like India getting into recession, really speaking, is unthinkable. And the point number 8 that you look at, how the inflation and how are the interest rate. So if there's a low inflation and if the interest rates are low, that means it's a good sign for the economy. Number 9, low population growth. Number 10, how is the economic infrastructure, and which means the financial institutions, the bank, the NBFCs, the fintech, the technology, the digitization. How are all these things in that country? That is factor number 10, economic infrastructure. Factor number 11, political stability. Uh, Factor number 12, level of education and education infrastructure. Point number 13, dominant position in some field like IT. Point number 14, relations with neighboring countries. Point number 15, which of course is not in our control, and that is monsoon. How is the monsoon behaving or respond? How is the monsoon in the country? Because for a country like India, which is agri dominant country, monsoon plays a very important role in the economy. And finally, the point number 16 is government instance on reforms. So these are the 16 factors that you would look at and consider for coming to a conclusion as to how is the health of an economy.